Hey everybody, it is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Monday, November 11th, 2019. We again find ourselves in the last hour of the trading day. As I mention each day, I believe that the closing prices, or the prices that you just before you get to the close of the day, are the most valid prices of the day. During the day, you have the algorithms, you have the day traders in there battling it out. I consider it a lot of noise. At the end of the day, particularly in the last few minutes of the market, the large financial institutions come in, make their bets, and move the prices to where I believe are the most valid prices of the day. And therefore, those are the prices that I want to make my buying and selling decisions from. So that is why I'm primarily an end of day trader. I just want to avoid the noise during the day, look what the big guys are doing at the end of the day, and then make my decisions from those prices. So anyway, listen, I hope everyone's doing well. Hope you had a nice weekend. Currently, Dow is up 17 points. NASDAQ is down 10 points, and the S&P is down 5 points. So not too big of a move either way today. I really do appreciate you guys coming today, as always. Appreciate you spending your time here, investing your time, and I hope you're learning something. I hope you're getting a return on your time investment. So let me just make sure if you guys can hear me, say hi maybe in the chat. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me before I get started. All right, Kirk is there. What's going on, Kurt? Good to see you, my friend. Kurt says, "Hey, Greg, nice trade on PayPal thus far." Yeah, it's pretty good so far, right? And Kurt, hey, I want to thank you. It's Veterans Day today. I know Kurt's a veteran, so I want to thank you for your service, Kurt. Appreciate that. And Evan Morgan is here. Hey, how you doing, Evan? Good to see you, sir. And Aman Solo, nice to see you. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it as always. So, all right, well, listen, the plan for today, as usual, first of all, we're going to go ahead and we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. We're going to get that out of the way. We're going to come back. We're going to take a look at all my current positions. We're going to talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, what methodology I used to buy them, and most importantly, how I'm going to manage them going forward. After that, I'm going to spend a few minutes on trader psychology. It's the most important skill that you can learn in trading. It's always great to learn the technicals, entries, exits, all that kind of stuff. And you need to do it, that's for sure. But sometimes we do things that we know we're not supposed to do. And generally that happens when our emotions get dialed up one way or the other. So that is why, this is why I always talk about trader emotions. Hopefully what I read and what I talk about, you'll internalize by listening to it every day, and you'll realize how important it is. After that, we're going to go take a look at all the stocks on my watch list. We're going to go down through each one by one. We're going to look at the support levels. We're going to look at the resistance levels. We're going to look for a combination or a confluence of indicators such as RSI, MACD, moving averages, ATR channels. The way that I look at indicators, I look at them as potential groups of buyers. And so if you want a stock to go up, you want to be in the company with as many buyers as possible. And therefore, if one indicator is a potential group of buyers, then 2, 3, 4 lining up at the same time, that's 2, 3, or 4 groups of buyers. And the more buyers, the better. So that's why I like to look for a combination of indicators lining up. And then, of course, after we do that, even though we have a combination of indicators, right, we have to also factor in the risk to reward just to make sure we have more possible reward than we have risk. So it's a two-step process. Look for a combination of confluences, make sure that you have a good risk to reward. And if I find a stock today, as we go down through the list, if I find something that meets those criteria, then I'll go ahead and I'll buy that at the end of the day. And then after that, after the market closes, if you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them, happy to clarify any questions that you have. If you'd like me to take a look at any stock symbols that you're interested in, I'm happy to give you my humble opinion. And also, if there are any stock symbols that you think might be interesting for the group before the or helpful for the group before the market closes, go ahead, put those in. I'll do my best to take a look at those, maybe put an asterisk by it or something like that, so I know it's kind of time sensitive. All right, well listen, hang tight real quick. I'm going to run the US legal disclaimer and I will be back in about 40 seconds. Thanks.
This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much.
All right. Gamer Squad's here. Good to see you, Gamer. Thank you for coming by. Appreciate it. Hey, Jackson, what's going on, my friend? Hope everything's going well. Hope you're having a good morning down there in Australia. Jesse, good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for sending over those scripts for my new student. I really appreciate that. You've really gone above and beyond, and I appreciate that. And so has Jackson, by the way. Both of you guys have been very helpful in sending over scripts and helpful information for new students. And thank you, Jesse, by the way. Veterans Day today. I know Jesse was also in the military, so I appreciate your service. And Kurt says, yes, thank you, sir. Happy Veterans Day, Jess. Yep. Jesse and Kurt, thank you for your service. Mansola says, thank you for your service, Kurt. Steve, hey, bud. What's going on? Steve Burns, good to see you, sir. Always good to see you. Thank you so much for coming by. It's always an honor to have you here. I'm always excited to have you here. I know everyone else is too. Steve Burns says, hey, Greg, I was doing the Chris Yule podcast, but I am back today. Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that podcast. Steve was interviewed on the Christopher Uhl podcast. So when that comes out, I will definitely share a link. Marco, hey, how you doing, Marco? Good to see you, my friend. Hope everything is well over there in Europe and Slovenia. And if there's any questions I can answer for you today, Marco, please let me know, okay? Happy to do it. All right, well, let's get to it then. So, first position is Johnson & Johnson. I did buy Johnson & Johnson back here on the 5th of November. I bought it because we had a higher low V1. We closed outside of the 1 ATR channel. We rallied back up into the value zone. We had a couple days down. On the day that I bought it, we washed out or went below the previous day's low by at least a quarter of an ATR's distance, and then we closed above day one's close. That is my signal to take, and so far it has moved up nicely. It's moved up 3 days in a row up here. Of course, you know I like to take profit targets and phase out as the market is going my way. Today though, we are down a little bit, just about 1%. We have moved more than 1 ATR away from my entry, but you know, at that point I will implement a some type of trailing stop. But today we have an inside bar, so really nothing to do today. So tomorrow, if we close below today's low, that would be my signal to get out of the trade. Also, if we keep moving up, I'm going to keep phasing out as long as we move up. However, if we do get some resistance and test that 200-day moving average and then close back below it, that will be my signal to get out, because it's rejecting a major moving average above me. So that's the plan. But anyway, so far, nice profit. PayPal. So I did buy PayPal on Friday. This is a return to value. The prices went above the 1 ATR channel Don't like to buy up there. I like to wait for it to come back into value. Once it comes back into value, I need to see it stop going down. I need to find some stability. But here we go down, here we go down. We're still in the value zone. Then we get 2 days of the price not going down anymore. There's some stabilization. And why that's important, everyone, is that I want to see it stop going down. I want to know that there are at least some buyers there, that the price is stabilizing. And that's what we got. So we'll move up into above value, back into value, couple days, couple small bar days moving sidewards. Then I look for a stab down and reversal, and that's what I got. So Friday washed out or went below Thursday's low, and then it closed above Thursday's close. That is my entry. My stop would then be a close below halfway of the washout bar. Friday was the washout bar, and it has moved nicely up today. It's up about 1.28%. It did hit one profit target here at 102.67, but this is a good example here of, you see the blue line? The blue line is the 50 RSI, and you can see earlier today we did go up above the 50 and test it and come back down. So when I'm under 50 and I move up, if I close over 50, great, I'm going to hold it, right? And I'm going to continue to move up unless I get some kind of trailing stop signal. But today, this is my trailing stop signal because we rejected the 50 RSI above. I mean, the day's not over. Currently, it's at a 49.60, 49.59. So if it does not close above the 50 RSI today, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take this one-day profit because we came from under the 50 up to the 50. We rejected the 50. And if it closes below, that is going to be my signal to exit the entire trade. But anyway, good day anyway. All right, SPY, world famous SPY trades. So I know you guys hear this every day. Apologize, it gets old, but listen, if we have some new viewers, I want them to understand what I'm doing. So I do buy the SPY every day at the end of the day, and I sell it the first thing the next morning. It has nothing to do with technical levels or indicators or anything. It has to do with this long-term back-tested approach from Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest on Twitter. Two options with this approach. Option number one, or test number one, is buying the SPY every day at the open, first thing in the morning, selling it every day at the close. So if you would have bought at the open, sold at the close, bought at the open, sold at the close every day since 1993, you'd have actually returned a negative 13.9% for all your troubles. However, if you did the opposite, which is what I do, buy the SPY at the close every day, sell it first thing the next morning, buy at the close, sell the next morning, buy at the close, sell the next morning. If you would have done this every day since 1993, you'd have actually been up 634.2%. So out of the two options, which one looks better? Well, to me, this one does. And that is why I buy the SPY every day at the close, sell it first thing the next morning. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Of course, we know that. That goes for any trading approach, even the best trading approaches that have great edges. Doesn't mean they're going to work in the future, but I'd rather allocate capital to something that does have a good track record. I like this chart. It shows you over the long run, if you have an edge, how it plays out. But in the middle, you have ups and downs, and you have to be prepared for these. These are completely normal. You know, it's important, and I mention this a lot, but think of every trade as the next 1,000 trades, right? Take the long-term approach on trading. If people did this, they would do much better in trading. Don't get too excited. Don't get too upset about any one trade. You're going to go through drawdowns. You're going to go through losing periods. It always happens. The chart shows you exactly, right? Fantastic move up. Oh, not so hot. Nice move up, not so hot, right? And here we've had a nice leg up, and then here wasn't so great. So, you can't take the long view. Don't get frustrated if you have bad results in the short term, because if you're trading correctly, you're trading with an edge over the long term. It should prevail, hopefully, right? That being said, today was a losing trade. I did buy this on Friday here at 308.94. At the end of the day, sold it first thing this morning near the lows at 307.43. But listen, you're not going to win every day. I remember in the month of May, 80% of my overnight SPY trades lost, and it was tough, right? Luckily, going before May, I had made a nice amount of money doing this. So in May, it was just a drawdown. But after May ended, it rallied right back up. And just a couple days ago, I hit an all-time high using this approach. But 2 losing days now. Bought Thursday, sold Friday for a small loss. Bought Friday, sold today for a larger loss. But that's how it goes, right? Just trade by trade by trade. Look at this trade. It's just the next 1,000 trades of buying in the afternoon and selling in the morning. So I will be buying this again at the end of the day. All right. Hey Murat, how you doing, bud? Good to see you. Murat's our friend from Norway. Any exciting trades on oil today, Murat? I know Murat had a huge day on Friday, so congratulations. Kurt says, Steve, looking forward to the podcast as well. Yeah, me too. That's going to be a really good one. That is definitely going to be a good one. You know, maybe this is the time to do it. So it is Veterans Day, right? Thank you to everybody for your service. This is the gravestone of my dad in the U.S. Army. He was actually in World War II. He was in Korea and he was in Vietnam. Duty, honor, country. This is up at the military cemetery up in Oregon. So, and this is a picture of Wolfgang. That's my dad. That's the old man. My dad has kind of an interesting story. I think some of you know this, but I did a podcast. I did a podcast a few weeks ago when it came out a couple days ago, and believe it or not, many people think that my dad was the suspect of the DB Cooper hijacking. Essentially, there's a lot of people out there, FBI or DB Cooper investigators and so forth and so on, that believe my dad was actually DB Cooper. So I did a interview on a DB Cooper podcast. I did upload it to YouTube. It's here, interview of Gregory Gossett on the Cooper Vortex. So if you guys are interested in maybe finding out about that, I think it's a pretty good podcast. I've had some pretty good feedback on it. It's about an hour and a half, I think, and went through and explained all the reasons and my experiences with him of why I believe that he is the infamous DB Cooper. So I know it sounds kind of crazy. I'm going to put the link in the chat for my YouTube video. I believe Steve listened to it, and it sounds like he thought it was pretty cool, and I think it is a pretty good podcast. So anyway, if you're interested, I thought it was a good confluence of with the day being Veterans Day and my dad obviously being a veteran, and so I thought I'd share that in case you guys want to listen to it. So anyway, Dad, thank you for your service. I appreciate that as well. Imagine that he was in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. So that's definitely the trifecta of wars, isn't it? So anyway, all right. Back to trading. So listen, there are a lot of good Twitter channels out there who the owner, they talk about trader psychology, how important it is, the traps we fall into by not following our plan. We usually don't follow our plan because we get our emotions revved up. And this one is by Kashul. I apologize, sir. Korea. He has really good posts. It's at KK_quant. And I did see this today, and it kind of did speak to me, and I thought it was helpful for this group. But he says, I'll position size correctly once I have a larger account, but now I need to build up my small account as fast as possible. The statement above is a death sentence for most traders. And it's so true. Look, whether you have $1,000 or whether you have $1,000,000, it all depends on percentage and risk to reward and all this. And of course, I don't like to buy more than 10% max of my capital in any one account. Doesn't mean that's the only way, but I think what happens when traders have smaller accounts, they think, okay, it's only $1,000 or $5,000. If I blow it up, it's not the end of the world. And okay, that is true, but you're not abiding by good trading principles. I don't care if you have $1,000 or $1,000,000. Stick with your percentages, right? Don't over position size in any one stock, no matter how much you have. And this is exactly what people think. I'll position size correctly once I have a large account, but right now I need to build my small account as fast as possible. So, I mean, there are two issues with this. One, you're like, okay, I'm going to break the rules, but I'll follow them later. Okay, people always say that with trading. I'm going to trade kind of crazy right now until I get even, but after that, boy, I'm going to be on the straight and narrow. Yeah, it's not going to work. And by position sizing, having a large position size, it doesn't mean you're going to build your account as fast as possible. You could do the opposite and lose fast as possible. So anyway, I apologize on the name there, sir. I do appreciate this this post. I think it's definitely relevant, but I'll position size correctly once I have a larger account, but right now I need to build my small account as fast as possible. The statement above is a death sentence for most traders, and I totally believe that. So whether you have a little bit of money or a lot of money, stick by your positioning size rules. It's so important. I always harp on position size, and the reason I do is because to get good at trading, you need experience. To get experience, you have to stay in the game for years. To stay in the game for years, you actually have to have money in your account. And if you position size correctly, no matter how bad of a trader, you're probably going to survive and you're going to get that experience. But if you start out and position size too large, blow up your account, you're going to be out of the game. You're never going to get experience, and therefore you're never going to become a good trader. Jackson says, I listened to it. Incredible, Greg. Oh, thank you, Steve. Thanks, Kurt. Great to see you here. Murat, I think position sizing was not easier than today. With zero commissions, it is insane not to do it. I totally agree, Murat. So important, right? And you're right. Having the no commissions now makes things completely different. Before, I can understand. I need to take a bigger position size, because my commissions are going to be smaller in relationship if I take a bigger position size. And yeah, I get it. I totally get it. But now with the zero commissions, really no excuse. But anyway, great comment, Murat. That really does make a lot of sense. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody being here. I really, really do. And let's see, we're a little ahead of schedule here. So if anybody has any stocks you'd like me to take a look at, I'm happy to do that. If anybody has any great trades to talk about, I'm happy to do that as well. So, all right. Well, let's start going through and we'll see if there's anything interesting today. Apple. Well, this is epic, actually. I mean, this move up is epic. I just can't get involved here with Apple. It's just extremely high. It's a 79 RSI. It's way outside of the areas that I would be interested in buying Apple. You guys heard me say back here, I'm scared to buy Apple. I'm scared to short Apple. I don't want to play in this game. I want to wait till at least we pull back to value. 90% of prices will stay under the third ATR channel. 90% of prices stay above the negative third ATR channel. Well, this is one of those situations, 10%, where it does not care about the third ATR channel. This is extremely strong. But again, would I want to short it here? No. Would I want to buy it here? No, I have to wait till it fits my parameters. My parameters are at minimum a pullback into the value zone, possibly a pullback to the 50-day moving average with a lower RSI, possibly the 10 EMA crossing under the 50 EMA and then back over. Boy, this, for anyone that's been trend trading this, they're making a mint, and that's fantastic. But, I was listening to Steve Burns' weekly newsletter last night, and let me just show you over here. Right here, weekly video newsletter. This is at newtraderu.com. I subscribe to this. I listen to it every time he brings it out. It's 3 times a week. I'll never miss it. But what he was saying on Apple is, of course, now we're at all-time highs. Everyone who's ever bought Apple is in the money. But it is getting overextended, and once we do start going down, there are going to be a lot of people that their stops are going to start getting hit, whether it's a close below the previous day's low or a crossover or so forth, and that can really multiply and compound on itself. If you get one person hitting a stop, then there's going to be some selling pressure. If you hit another stop, there's going to be some more selling pressure. So, and it kind of cascades on itself. So there is a potential this could happen. The old saying, the stock market goes up by the stairs, but down by the elevators. And, I've seen examples hundreds of times where you've had huge moves up like this. And, in 2 or 3 days, you can take out 2 or 3 weeks of movement to the downside, right? Because everyone decides to sell at the same time. So I'm going to be very patient with Apple. I'd like to get back in Apple, but at the very least, I have to have it come into the value zone. Murat says, no exciting oil trade. I was not in front of my computer most of the day, so I missed a few opportunities. I usually try to not trade on Mondays since my track record on Mondays is not impressive. Oh, interesting. Well, it's good that you've taken note of that. Adobe, another one, big move up here. Third ATR channel is having some issues here. I'd like to see this pull back into the value zone, have some sideways movement, have consolidation, look for some stabilization, and then just like on PayPal, look for a V1 or V2. But just going to have to be patient with this. As with a lot of stocks right now, I'm just going to have to be patient. Steve Burns says, buying begets buying and sell-offs lead to bigger selling. Trends can be psychological. 100%. Yep, buying does bring in more buyers and selling brings in more sellers. So, all right, Advanced Micro Devices, huge, strong move up even after earnings. Third ATR channel. Again, the very least, guys, I needed to come back into the value zone. Just need to be patient, sit on my hands. I'm not going to be shorting this or anything like that. I just need to be patient, have it come back into the value zone. Well, speaking of coming back into the value zone, Amazon is doing it. If you guys remember, I did buy Amazon here when we had a close above the 200-day moving average. You guys know that I like to buy above a moving average. I like to buy above some support, ideally as close as possible to it. So if it does close below, I'm out immediately, giving myself a small risk to the downside if I'm wrong and a large upside if I'm right. But this is a perfect example of, okay, I'm going to put my toe in the water. I'm going to test the water, see if this will hold the 200-day moving average. And the next day it closed right below. I got out, and luckily I did not have to endure this. But we were above the 1 ATR channel. We are coming into the value zone, which is good, right? We need to be above the 1 ATR channel, make a higher high. That's step 1. Step 2, we have to come into the value zone. Okay, well, we are in the value zone, so that's step 2. Does this mean we go ahead and buy it? No, not yet. Now we need to see some sideways movement. It's into the value zone, but it continues to go down, go down, go down, go down. I need to see a couple days where buyers step up and it at the very least starts to move sideways. So I know that the majority of the selling has dried up. So I need a couple days sideways, then look for a V1, V2. But Amazon is looking pretty good here, not today, but in the future for a nice return to value, sideways movement, V1, V2. So I'm definitely going to be watching this, but this is a great example of moving up above the 1 ATR channel, back into the ATR channel, back into value, like I'm waiting for on Apple, right? But now it's in the value zone, but I need a couple days sideways to show that the selling the selling supply has dried up, and then look for a scab down, have the market reject it, go back up, and that would be my entry point. Boeing, holy smokes, guys. Well, this is the reason the Dow is up and everything else is down today. Look at this V1. Unbelievable. It's a beautiful higher low V1. We closed outside the 1 ATR channel. We'd rallied into the value zone. We come back down. Today went below yesterday's low, and then whew. So this is a beautiful V1. It's a bullish engulfing bar. MACD is positive. However, it's too high for me to buy. I mean, I guess you could buy it here and use the 200-day as your stop, giving you a good risk to reward ratio, but we're at the second ATR. Remember what I told you about third ATR? 90% of prices get stuck there. So, from here to here as a stop, from here to here as a gain, I guess it makes sense, but I just generally, as a general rule, do not buy at the second ATR channel. So anyway, real strong day. I believe they're going to continue to sell 737 Maxes, or their orders are going to continue, something like that. Big volume. Yeah, this is very, very strong for sure. But again, it's just kind of outside of the parameters. I don't like to buy these V1s, V2s more than like 3/4 from the bottom up to the top of this channel, like right about here. So yeah, I'm just going to have to let that one go. But it's a beautiful example of a higher low V1. Caterpillar just trucking on up like a lot of stocks, like a lot of large cap stocks. Again, need to pull back into value, sideways movement, look for a V1, V2. Jesse says, hey Greg, thinking of your dad on this Veterans Day. He was a member of the greatest generation and sounds like quite a soldier. 3 different campaigns. What a great patriot to the country. Yeah, I think I'm pretty proud of that he fought in those big 3 wars, right? Yeah, he ran away from home when he was 15, joined the Marines. Yep. Steve says, Greg, are your 3 ATR channels the same as setting Keltner channels for 1, 2, and 3 standard deviations? Yes, Steve, they are. Yep. So essentially, when you see this here, when you see the negative third ATR channel or the positive 30 ATR channel, those are Keltner channels. Wayne says, CMG got the bounce. Hey, Wayne, how's it going? Oh, right. I can't remember, Wayne. Did you buy that on Friday? Or were you just waiting? I can't remember. Oh yeah, okay, so Friday was under 30, today's over 30. So yeah, I like that. I mean, now you have it went under 30, back over 30. That's good. Bounced off the 200-day. You're to 35.82 RSI. So if you're wrong, you're probably wrong 5 RSI points to the downside. If you're right and can get back up to 50, you have 3 times. So it's a good risk to reward ratio. This looks excellent. Yeah, that looks excellent. Matter of fact, Wayne, I'm going to write that one down. All right. Yeah, I like that. All right. So I'm going to watch that at the end of the day. Thank you, Wayne. Steve says the third Keltner channel looked like a very accurate resistance on charts as I am flipping through them. Much more accurate than Bollinger Bands. Yeah. Steve, as you know, I use them quite a bit. I was taught these by Dr. Alexander Elder and Carrie Lavorne. A while ago you asked me a question, what comes first, like the 70 RSI or the third ATR channel, or are they ever in a confluence? I think, I went back and looked at that, and generally more than 50% of the time, I think you hit the 70 RSI before you hit the third ATR channel, but not always. But I just went through a bunch of charts and looked. It seemed like that was the trend. Yeah, I'm going to watch that CMG at the end of the day. Dow, just too high up here. We lost the 70 RSI. We've closed back underneath it. That's not a great sign for an index. A lot of times you have a really tough time getting and holding above a 70 RSI on an index. Looks like we've lost a third ATR channel. So nothing there. Again, waiting for a pullback. Walt Disney, of course, we have earnings. It got sold into immediately. Today we closed below the gap up low. That's not a good sign. There's a study that says once you have a big gap, if you can hold the gap and not close below the first day's low of the gap for 3 days, then you have a much better chance of moving higher. This on the first day looks like it might close below the previous day's low. So nothing there, waiting for a pullback into value. Etsy, good example. Here's a gap down day. Could it close above the high of the gap? See, here's the gap, here's the high. It went above, but within 3 days, it can't close above the high. So close below. That's bearish, and that did play out. It's a 23.95 RSI. So, here I would be looking for a close back above the 30, but not until. Ford Motor Company did have a higher low V1 here, right? We closed below the value zone. Oh, actually, we closed into the value zone, came down, but this higher than this low. Nice V1, but it triggered right at the top of the channel, so it's a little too high for me. Looks like it might close above the 200-day moving average, but with this resistance here, I think I'm just going to pass. Facebook is another good example of a move up above the 1 ATR channel. Move back into the value zone. Here we had 1 day, okay, we were above, we came back into the value zone, down. We did have 1 day of stabilization on Friday, but today we're moving down again. So we, move up into the value zone. I just like to see a couple days of sidewards movement and then look for a V1. But this is a great example of a move up, return to value. We just need the sideways movement, attempted stab down, reversal back up. Hey Mount Doji, good to see you, sir. Hope you had a good weekend, my friend. Tell us what's going on. Any exciting trades or anything? Dr. Long is here. Hey, good to see you, Doctor. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. I think this is your first time here, and thank you for coming. Hope you keep coming back. Doctor says bought ROK on November 1st. So you bought here, moved up nicely a couple days, made a higher high. Okay, well, good. You're in the money. Do you have a plan for this trade, Doc? As far as what you're going to do to the upside or the downside? Mount Doji says, I would like to hear your thoughts on WBV V1. Oh, that's not right. WBT. Yeah, I like it, Mount Doji. I mean, we closed below the 1 ATR channel. We rallied back into the value zone. We had 2 days down, and this is a beautiful V1. I mean, this thoroughly washes out day one. Day one's very small. That's good. Looks like we're above 50 RSI. Looks like we're above 20-day moving average. Yeah, I like it. And if I did buy this, of course, today is the washout day. If we had a close below the midway of this bar, that would be my stop, giving me a small theoretical loss if I'm wrong. I mean, it could go all the way down to here, of course, but we have to, we have to measure off of something. So halfway of this washout bar is where it should hold, but giving yourself, probably a fairly small loss if you're wrong and a nice potential move up if you're right. Yeah. I like it, Mount Doji. Hey, Joshua. Joshua Kaufman, good to see you. Hi, Greg. Hope it was a nice weekend. Yes, it was. It was. I did a lot of chart study and a lot of chart study thinking in my head this weekend. Lots of it. All right, so the doc bought 75, bought here on the first, rising back to 75, looking for a 200 upside potential. So, did it ever get to 200? Didn't quite get there. Third ATR channel is about 190. Risking back to 175. Okay, well, good. I mean, that's your plan. The important part is that you have a plan, and you're giving yourself more upside potential than downside potential. All right, 5 below. We lost the 200-day here. Nothing interesting here. Possibly close back over the 200 if it came on some nice volume. Didn't get too far extended. Might be interesting. Gold. Looks like it did bounce off the low. It didn't quite get to 30 RSI. Got close. I'd like to see a real distinct close under and back over 30. Google down today, did reject the third ATR channel here. I would like to see this come back into the value zone, like on Facebook, right? I'd like to, and Amazon, we're above the 1 ATR channel. I don't want to buy stuff up here. I considered overvalued. I want to buy in value. I want to buy at value or under value. So waiting for a pullback. Goldman Sachs down today, did have this nice 520 crossover here that definitely gave the possibility of having some nice profit potential. Hit the third here, hit the third here, hit the third here each time it rejected. Again, just waiting for a pullback into value. Home Depot, nothing on Home Depot. We're to 46.31 RSI. If we had a V2 tomorrow, so here's day one, today would be day two. It did wash out day one, but it hasn't closed above day one, so it can't be a V1. But tomorrow, it is giving us a potential for a V2. Into value, higher low, or lower high, wash this out, but we are still in the value zone and we still are moving sideways. And so it's holding here. There's some consolidation. There's kind of an equal amount of buyers or sellers. So tomorrow, if we triggered this V2 back up into the value zone, I would be interested in that. Biotech, just too high. Looks like we've made a lower high underneath the third ATR channel. Again, waiting for a pullback. I'd like to see a pullback into value zone at the same time you had the 200. I think this would be a good place to look for a bounce at the 200. Intel, just way too high. Another example though, we have a gap up. See how it held for 3 days, didn't close below the previous day, and it moved up from there. Russell 2000, we are just too extended, need a pullback. We did buy, this is a good example here of a good risk to reward. I bought when we closed above the 200-day. If we closed even a penny below, I would get out. Doesn't mean it's going to close below, but just to give you an example, right? But, even if it closed half at, 50 cents below or $1 below, I would get out. But if I'm right, as I was, I have some nice easy dollars to the upside. And I did get out here when we went above the third ATR channel and closed back below, but nothing here, need to pull back into value. Johnson & Johnson, of course, we talked about that. I bought this on this higher low V1. It moved up nice 3 days. Today it is down. It's a inside bar, so nothing to do on this. If we close below today's low tomorrow, I would get out. to the upside. If we go up tomorrow or reject the 200, I would also get out. If we closed above the 200, I would keep it and to continue to phase until we get some kind of close below the previous day's low or some kind of other rejection to the upside. Coca-Cola, we've lost the 1 ATR channel. We are getting pretty close to the -3 ATR channel. What I'd really like to see here, I'd like to see it go under 30 and back over 30 and go for the deep dip buy, right? And depending how fast this does this, I'd like to see a confluence of a 30 RSI at the same time we have a third ATR channel. The best kind of trade, my wonder trade or my ultimate trade would be a 30 RSI lining up with the third ATR channel lining up with the 200-day moving average. That would be fantastic. And a V1 and V2, throw that on top. But nothing on Coke, but I will be looking to buy this lower at the 30 RSI if we get there. Lockheed Martin, really nothing there at the moment. MasterCard, we had these 2 big days down. We have rallied a little bit. It just feels range bound. There is a crossover, but I just don't like these 2 huge bars. McDonald's, I'm looking for one of 3 things to happen on McDonald's. Close back above the 250, that back test well on a standalone above the 250, close back above the 200. Or ideally, I'd really like to buy it down here at a 30 RSI. So I'm just going to be patient. You see how long it's been since McDonald's has closed over the 10-day? So closing back up above the 10-day will be a first good start. Altria, nothing there. Merck, above the 1 ATR channel, back in. Do we have a couple days of consolidation? Yeah, we have a ton. So this is all set up. All, above the 1 ATR channel, higher high, above the 1 ATR channel, back into the value zone, stop going down, moving sideways. Yeah, we've had tons of, we've had 5 days of moving sideways here. I want to see a move down and rejection and move back up V1, V2. Microsoft too high, need to pull back into value. Netflix, nothing here on Netflix. I did buy Netflix here with the 520 crossover. Next day moved right our way, a couple days sideways, another nice big day up. Then here we had another couple profit targets. I did decide to take this off the table because we had this bearish reversal bar, this pin bar reversal, or as Dr. Alexander calls it, a negative kangaroo tail. It rejected this previous high and had this bad price action, so I did go ahead and just lock in this profit. But reason I like phasing out is, I always phase out into these big bars, so I did lock in profits, up in this range, and that range as well. So nothing on Netflix now. I'd have to wait for a pullback. How are we doing on time? Nike, nothing there, just moving sideways. I'd like to see a dip down to the 100, see where the RSI lines up with that. Philip Morris, very strong, nothing there. Our PayPal position, remember now, I did buy that on Friday with this nice V1 sideways movement, V1 inside the channel, 1 profit target today, but as of right now, it's a 49.21. It did go above the 50 RSI intraday, and now it's below. So if this closes below the 50 RSI, I'm going to go ahead and just take that off the table. The Qs just too high, need a pullback. Silver got very close to bouncing off the 30 RSI. I mean, it did essentially bounce off the 30 RSI. I would like to see it close under the 30 and then back over ideally. The SPY, we took a whooping overnight on that one, but that's how it goes. I will be buying this again at the end of the day. Bonds, we're to 35 RSI. I'm looking for a 30, under 30, over 30. What I do like about bonds is, if you look at this on a monthly chart, we have had kind of a big up move. On the weekly chart, we are in the value zone, and this is called triple screen from Dr. Elder, but long term needs to be up, intermediate term needs to be in the value zone, and then you would take your entry on the daily. And but my entry on here is a close under, close over 30. We do have a bit of a double bottom with the bullish divergence. Not a great one. This should be less than half of this, and this seems like it's about 5/8. Tesla, big strong day today. Again, too high, pull back into value. Twitter, look at this base this is building. Nobody wants to buy it higher, but nobody wants to sell it lower. So, I'd be looking for a close back over 30. United Healthcare, just need to pull back into value. Oil, Murat had this great trade where he shorted here, bought here, rode it all the way up, and now he's out. But you can see we're not respecting the 200-day moving average here anymore. Again, pull back into value is what I'd be looking for. The VIX, man, you know what? It bounced off the 30 almost to the penny. Bounced off the 30 RSI, closed back up. See this previous low here? We have a low. Today we went underneath the low and closing back up in the low. So this is a false breakout to the downside. Bounce off the third ATR channel, bounce off the 30 RSI. I am going to take a half position in VIX at the end of the day. Verizon, nothing there. Walmart, under the channel. Did not close back above the channel. Couple days down, I would be looking for a high or low V1, V2. Energy, above the channel, above the 1 ATR channel, need to pull back into value. Financials, need to pull back into value. Real estate, looking for under 30, over 30. We're getting close, but not quite yet. Utilities, did buy this back here. When we rejected, we went under the 100, closed back above the 200, 100, bounced at the 30, very close to the 30, went up, rejected the third ATR channel. I like that trade. I took it here with the close under the 100, so I did get out, but again, it was a small loss. If I was right, I could have 2 to 3, 4 times that to the upside. If I'm wrong, I just go ahead and get out, and obviously I'm glad that I did. And healthcare. Pull back into value. All right, so let's take a quick look. Actually, I'm going to move Katie right here just to get that out of the way. She's giving me that look. I'll be back. Give me 30 seconds. Okay. I swear that dog can tell time. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have to manage today. Johnson & Johnson, I'm in trailing stop mode, but no close below the prior day low, so nothing there. PayPal looks very likely that it's going to close under the 50, so I will have to go ahead and get out of that. Let's take a look at Wayne's Chipotle. I like it. We went under 30, back over 30 today. We bounced at the 200. We went under the third ATR channel, back over the third ATR channel. Risk to reward is good. The stop on this would be a close under the 200 or close under the 30 RSI and a targeting up to the 50 RSI. Let's see where that would be. Roughly there. So yeah, does it give us more than 2 to 1 to the upside? Yeah, it gives us about 3 to 1. So thanks, Wayne. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to buy that at the end of the day. It's over the 200-day moving average, so I will take a full position. And then let's take a look at VIX. Oh no, my charts. Oh, this isn't good. Let's see if I can get these back up. Sorry, everybody. Come on, baby. Boot back up, please. I think they're working. Yeah, Steve, whenever a stock can close above the third ATR channel, it's very strong. I mean, that becomes like a bullish indication. Come on, Trade Navigator. Come on, baby. Hi, Bing He. Good to see you, sir. Thank you for coming. Bing He's our friend from Singapore. Always nice to have him here. All right, come on now. Yay. All right. So J&J is fine. PayPal, we're going to have to watch that 50 RSI. It did reject it. If it closes under, I'm going to go ahead and get out of it. VIX. Looks like I am going to buy half position. Bounce off the third ATR channel. False breakout to the downside from this previous low. Basically bounced right at the 30. So it gives me a good risk to reward ratio, right? 31.37. If it closes under 30, I'll get out. I'll target up here 50 RSI as my first profit target. And then CMG, I like it. What do we have? We have 4 minutes. All right, so the plan again is watch PayPal, close under the 50. I'm going to get out. SPY, close at the end of the day. VIX, as long as it stays above back into this old range, I will keep it. And again, it bounced off the 30, bounced off the third ATR channel. It's a false breakout to the downside. And then CMG, thanks to Wayne, I do like this. Hey, no pressure on this trade, Wayne. Just kidding. All right. So, in the essence of time, I am going to go ahead and I am going to buy CMG right now. Okay. All right, so VIX is going to go automatically and the SPY is going to go automatically. So what I have to watch pretty closely now is PayPal. Okay, we have less than a minute. VIX looked like it might lose that. All right, I think PayPal is not going to do it, so I am going to go ahead and get rid of PayPal. But that was a good one-day trade. Okay. All right. So PayPal did close under 50, but it was a nice one-day trade. But just so you know, I did buy this on the V2, did reject the 50 RSI, closed back under it, and that's my signal to take it. But anyway, I'm happy with that trade for sure, right? One-day trades are kind of fun. All right, so we got filled on. Let's see. We got filled on CMG at 743.19. That's expensive stock, isn't it? All right, so 743.19. All right, well, we're in the money a little bit already. How about that? And then VIX at 1859. Okay. And then the SPY, where do we get filled on our new SPY position? We got 308.35. Right? 308.35. Right. All right. Well, that's our new lineup. So we continue to have Johnson & Johnson, current trade, profitable, CMG. I like this new bounce off the under the 30, back over the 30, bounced off the 200, closed under the third ATR channel and back up, giving us a good risk to reward. So we'll see what happens with CMG. SPY, we had the overnight trade, and then VIX again bounced right at the 30. False breakout to the downside, went lower than this previous low, closed back above, and also bounced at the third ATR channel and bounced up. So 3101 gives us a good risk to reward ratio if we are wrong. And I believe that is it. So anyway, listen, if you guys have any questions now, need any clarification on anything, have any jokes, just let me know, type them in the live chat. Before I do that, I just want to quickly mention that I do offer private one-on-one coaching and teaching and mentoring lessons in the evening time via Skype. I have a 10-hour course. It's live, just you and I, 5 2-hour sessions. A lot of times it goes over 2 hours, believe me. After those 10 hours, you should have a pretty good deep understanding of the way I trade, the way I view the market. I've had really good success with my clients. It's a pretty intense course. It's $1,000, but I do think it is money well spent. I think you're going to learn everything that I've learned myself and from my coaches and my mentors over the last 24 years. And the important part is that it's one-to-one, right? There's instant feedback. I do the teaching, then I have you teach it back to me. And it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard, right? For some of my students out there, when we flip positions, and then you have to teach it back to me. But that's the way you learn something, is when you teach it back to someone. So if you're interested, my email is in the description of this video. You can also reach out to me on Twitter. But before we decide that we're going to work together, I do like to have a 30-minute, 40-minute Skype call with a prospective client, just to see if our goals are in line. I'd like to ask you
how you got into trading, what methodology you're using, how you're doing, what your challenges are, what your goals are, and then I'll put together a plan that will help you achieve those goals. And then of course you can ask me any questions you want, but there's no obligation to have that 30-minute Skype call. So if you're interested, please let me know. And then if you like this channel, I would appreciate if you would subscribe. And if you like today's content, or if you find these podcasts helpful and valuable, I'd appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button. It helps build the channel, helps promote the channel, gets it out to more people on YouTube, and there's a lot of people that could use a helping hand with trading. So if you could hit the thumbs up button, it would help get the channel out to those people. So okay, that's my plug. Sorry, I have to put it in every day, but appreciate you listening. So Evan, I think I could see Ulta on your, you think I could see Ulta on charts? Sure. So Evan, we closed under the 1 ATR channel. Now we've moved back into the ATR channel. So whenever you close under the -1 ATR channel and move back in, then I look for a move up. I look for a couple days down, ideally, and then I look for a V1 or V2 for a higher low V1, V2. This did wash out the previous day's low, but didn't close above. Today did not close above, so it's not a V2 either. So it's forming the pattern that I want under the 1 ATR channel, into the 1 ATR channel, down, but I still need a valid V1 or V2. So tomorrow, if tomorrow's bar went under today's bar and then closed above today's close, that would be a valid higher low V1 or V2, but nothing quite yet. And it does look like it may have rejected the 50 RSI to the upside also, but I don't, well, actually I do know for sure. Let's take a look. At its high, did it get to 50? It did. So it did reject the 50, which it would have been better if it would have closed over 50. So I would be looking for a higher low V1 and V2 here on ULTA. I hope that helps, Evan. NXTC from Wayne. Wow. Talk about a base. We talk about sideways movement, or is eventually going to usually explode one way or the other. We just don't know when and in one direction. Unbelievable. Wow. So what did that go from? That must have gone from like an 80 RSI or something. A 90 RSI. When's the last time you saw a 90 RSI, guys? Back down to a 49 RSI. I'm not surprised though. Remember, you get above 70 and your support to the downside is probably going to be 50. Look, it bounced, right at basically 50, 49.11. But yeah, this is a move above the value zone into value. So I maybe it had earnings this morning. Wow, crazy. Bing He says took ZYNE. Took ZYNE. Wanted to cancel this market on close, but seemed like my platform still proceeded to execute the trade. So you did take it, Bing He? Well, it looks like we went under 30 on Friday, over 30 today. V2, look at this V2. Here's day 1, here's day 2, here's day 3. Day 2 washes out day 1, day 3 closes above day 1. Went under the third ATR channel, back over the third ATR channel. I mean, your 50 RSI, your initial profit target, looking for a rejection is right about here. And if this were me, I probably would not use a 30 RSI as my stop. I would use whatever's closest, and that would be the halfway of the washout bar. So if you bought it today at the end of the day, it's a little better than 1-to-1, right? I mean, from here to here is
Oh, geez, 8%. 13% to the upside. So yeah, I didn't realize how large those percentages were. Well, you know me, I'd use a 5% emergency stop, but on something like this, boy, you probably want to take fewer shares. So let me know what happens with that, Bing He. Stop loss too wide now. Market on close, not able to cancel. Yeah, you got to be careful with those market on close orders. You can't do a market on close order if there's 15 minutes left. And I'm not sure. I think you can cancel them now, but maybe you can't cancel them with 15 minutes. Although that wouldn't make sense to me, but who knows? Yeah, there was quite a lot of buying at the end of the day on VIX. Look at this last 39-minute bars. A lot of volume came in there. So anyway, we have the VIX again. You know, I've had some great trades on VIX this year, but it's a tricky one. It's a rascally one here. But again, look, I mean, if I'm wrong under 30. It's at 31. I do like the action of the bounce off the 30 ATR channel. I do like the false breakout to the downside. So we shall see. Let's see. Dr. Long says he's risking 175. Yeah, that's what I figured. So it's good. I mean, it gives you a good risk to reward ratio. And the most important part there, Dr. Long, is that you have a plan, right? I don't care if people have like a mediocre plan in trading, as long as they have a plan and more importantly, they stick to it. That's what's important. Evan says, thanks for the response, Greg. Did SPCE hit some sort of resistance today? Should I be getting out? Well, here's the thing, Evan. Because Virgin Galactic just went public like 10 days ago, I don't have enough data for me to take a look at indicators. See how there's no lines on here? This was a pretty sweet V1 here, right? This day one, day two, this thoroughly washed out day one and then closed above day one's close. So, I mean, that would have been a really good entry point right here, obviously. This bar today is not particularly bullish. We are up on the day. We were up 2%, but you see how we closed, even though we closed below Friday's close or above Friday's close, we closed below today's open. That's generally, that's generally kind of a bearish signal when this happens. Close above the previous day's close, but we close below today's open. Where did you buy this, Evan? Jackson says, I did a few market on close, but I found I missed a few. I now do a conditional order with IB, and I find it more reliable, i.e. it pings off a market order 10 seconds before market close. Oh, interesting, Jackson. I think a lot of brokers do have those conditional orders. I guess I'm just kind of old school. I just want to hit market. 960. Well, it's been a nice trade so far. I mean, you essentially bought this V1, whether you knew it or not. I mean, you're up 6%. Nothing to sneeze at for sure. That's good. I don't know what to tell you there, Evan. I guess it depends on what your time frame is, how long you plan on holding this. If you're just trading this, like a regular trade where, I like the concept of this company. I think space tourism and things in space are going to be, the next internet or the next big thing for sure. And I think Virgin Galactic is one of the first ones that you can actually trade publicly. It's moving up, if you didn't get out today, you could also get out with a close below the previous day's low. That might be another option. But congratulations. You got a good trade for sure so far. This bar bugs me a little bit, but all right, I just want to remind you guys, if you are interested in listening about my father and the DB Cooper case, it's a pretty long interview. Well, it's an hour and 23 minutes, but I've got some really good feedback on it. So if you're interested, just go to my YouTube channel. It's right here, interview of Greg Gossett on the Cooper Vortex. But it's a pretty interesting story, whatever you believe. But I do got to tell you, based upon my experience with my father and some things that have happened, I feel pretty confident that it was him, but you never know. Evan says, the bar bugs me too. That's why I asked about it. Oh, I see. Today's bar, reversal bar. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're seeing those things, though. All right, so this is our group here, right? Johnson & Johnson, current trade. CMG, new trade. Thanks to Wayne for letting us know about this. And we'll see what happens tomorrow, though, Wayne, right? You never know. Could go down, could go up. My prediction, one of the two is going to happen. How's that for a bold prediction? SPY, we'll see what happens overnight. And then finally back in the VIX. Jackson says, Greg, could you talk about the intermediate and ultimate profit target on CMG? Absolutely, sir. Okay, so intermediate profit target, or my first profit target, I'm going to look around the 50 RSI, see what's going on, see how, remember on PayPal today we rejected the 50 RSI? All right, so this is roughly the 50 right here. Now, the way that I phase out, I have a formula that, I teach my students, not that I'm trying to hold it back from you guys. It would just be way too difficult to do it here on this podcast and not have enough time. So the blue line would be the 50. I would most likely, Jackson, first profit target would be the 50. If we rejected that tomorrow, I would get out. But my ultimate profit target, as far as doing your phasing out, the formula, I would use the 50. Most of the time, the 50 RSI is going to be below the 50-day moving average. So that's my first, that's my second. So of course, you would take the close of today up to the ultimate profit target, do your numbers, so forth and so on. So I will just leave that there for me because I'm going to have to do that later today. Already got it done. Jackson says, was not quick enough to get out of PayPal. Yeah. You know what? You'll find your rhythm. Jackson, you will. Remember when I was having to use the Schwab charts and I wasn't using my charts? That threw me off my rhythm too. I missed trades as well as that as well today. But on this particular trade, Jackson, I used the 50 as my first profit target, roughly here. But on this one, I didn't use the 50 as my ultimate because it was so close. I actually used the 200 day. And it's not special. You could have used the 200. You could have used the 1 ATR channel. I think the 50 was a little close. But on this particular trade, although I got out of it today, the 50 was the blue line. The 100 was my ultimate profit target. But had it closed above the 50 today, but then rejected the 50-day moving average above it, that would also get me out. If it held above the 50, I'd keep it. If it then closed back below the 50, I'd get out, and then I'd phase, and if it kept going, I'd phase right into the 200-day moving average. Okay, good. You use the 200 on PayPal as well. Good. So we're simpatico on that. So where did everything end up? So the Dow ended up 10 points, mainly because of Boeing. NASDAQ was down, S&P was down. All right, everybody. Well, listen, I appreciate you guys coming today. As always, it's nice to see everybody. I sincerely do appreciate you guys being here. Jackson, thank you. Thank you for all the help and the video you sent me, trying to help out new clients and students set up their charts correctly. But I really do appreciate all the help that you've given me on that, Jackson. I owe you. Wayne, good seeing you. Thanks for pointing out CMG, and we'll see what happens with that. Evan, thank you for coming by. Hope that helped. And yeah, let me know what's going on with your Virgin Galactic and what you do. Bing He, we will be watching that trade, and I hope that ZYNE, I hope it goes well for you. Oh, okay. I was reading that. I thought, yeah, okay, yeah. So we're still talking about ZYNE. So let us know what happens with that. Steve Burns, thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming by as always, and really looking forward to that podcast with you and Christopher Uhl. Thanks, bud. Really appreciate it. Please say hello to Holly and give my dogs the best. Dr. Long, good to see you, sir. Appreciate you coming by, and hope that trade works out well for you. Hope it gets up to your profit target. But if it doesn't, make sure at 175 you get out, right? But thanks for coming by. Hope you come back. Joshua, good to see you. I did have a nice weekend, and thank you for coming by. Mount Doji, good to see you. Hope that helps on WBT. Let's see, Jesse, thanks again. Appreciate all your help with all the indicators for that new student as well, Jesse. And again, Veterans Day, thank you for your service, sir, and your military service and your law enforcement service, everything you do. Appreciate you. And thanks for all your help again. Murat, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're having a good evening. Please say hello to the dog for me, and keep us up to date on your trades. And Kurt, thank you, bud. Appreciate you coming by, and thank you for your service in the military as well. So thanks to Kurt and Jesse for their service today, in the military on Veterans and on today, Veterans Day. And Marco, good to see you, my friend. If there's anything I can help you with, bud, you just let me know, okay? And Amon Solo, great to see you come back. Nice to have you here. Hope you keep coming back. Gamer Squad, good to see you. Keep me up to date. Let me know what's going on with your trades. I'm always more interested in your trades than my trades, guys. Seriously. So I think I got everybody. Jackson says, all good, mate. Anytime, I'm going out for a walk. Good night, Greg and all. Thanks. Have a good walk. Talk to you soon, okay? Evan says, I'll let you know. Another fun stream. Thanks. Oh, good. I'm glad. And Jesse says, thanks, Greg. Have a good night, sir. You too, sir. All right. Well, that's it. It's a beautiful day here in Utah. I'm going to go out and walk Katie up in the mountains, and then come back tonight, work on my charts, right? So again, thanks to our veterans. Appreciate your service, and have a good rest of your day. Take care. Oh, go out and do something nice for somebody today. Forgot to throw that in. Hold the door, say hi, wave at them, or just be nice, right? Just something might make somebody's day, and it'll make yours as well. So, okay. Hope to see you guys back tomorrow. Have a good day now. Bye-bye.
U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.